I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. In fact, if you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, which I hope is up now, we got hacked last week, but I hope everything's going all right. You would already know then that the title of tonight's show is A Turnaround Month. And that is because today we are having a fabulous new moon at 13 degrees of Libra. And Libra is the traditional ruler of the 7th house of peace and partnership and love and marriage and compromise and tact and negotiation. And it rules the arts, and it rules a sense of fairness and balance, which are very important to a Libra. And it also rules a certain amount of charm, which all Libras seem to have. So this is a time that can accentuate not only all of those nice qualities, but Libra also rules the law and all legal contracts, and those can really be accentuated right now too. And the reason why is that the Sun, new moon, Mars, and Mercury are all in Libra. And Mars is exactly conjuncting the lights. It's the Sun and the Moon at 13 degrees of Libra, and Mars, which is at 14 degrees of Libra. So it's an energetic sign, and that simply means that there can be quite a lot of effort or urgency about a partnership issue or about a legal agreement of one sort or another. So this is a time when you should try to keep all your legal matters straight if you can. But you shouldn't be surprised about people sort of coming forward in a very strident, almost pushy way. Because you do have to remember, even though there's 4 wonderful planets in Libra, and they are trining 2 other wonderful planets in Aquarius, Jupiter and Saturn, that makes 6 planets that are trining each other in the air signs. Even though that's going on, we have to remember it's not Venus that's in Libra, it's Mars. And so that can sometimes disrupt partnerships, or there can be people that want to break contracts, or there can be people that are saying, hey, that's not the law, you can't enforce that. And they could be questioning that. So there could be a lot of legal questions going on right now too. However, there are 2 main reasons why October is going to be a turnaround month. The first is that there are 6 planets in the air signs all trining each other, and they're trining the sign of Gemini as well. And so that simply means part of the reason for a turnaround this month is because people can be much more open and communicative. There can be a lot of people with very bright ideas right now that they have, and they're sort of thinking, hey, well, why not talk about all this? I mean, maybe it could lead to something better. And so there are people that may want to get together. They may want to make some sort of temporary or transitional change. That is certainly well aspected, so it wouldn't have to be a big permanent thing, but it could be pretty nice as well. Or they may want to take short trips, or they may want to do some sort of negotiation of things. Mars is a planet of war, though. We have to remember that. And so, and Libra rules China, actually. And so there could be some legal questions coming up that people can be either very much for or very much against. Now, would these legal questions be straightened out? Yes, they would be in the future. And that's why this is a turnaround month. Maybe there's some legal questions that have not been addressed that everybody is in denial about, but they need to be resolved. Well, that could be happening in this month with the 6 planets that are trining each other. They could, there could be enough good suggestions and ideas around now where something could sort of get the ball rolling and could result in something pretty favorable or peaceful. and that would be good for everyone. So the 6 planets in air signs are going to affect a turnaround, and even if you say you're not making one, it's going to happen around you, so you'll feel the effect of one, whether you are yourself making one or not. The second reason why there can be helping with a turnaround is because there are also 6 planets that are all retrograde. And retrograde planets go backward on their orbits, not forward. And so they go back and they collect more information, and then they slow down, and that's called making a station. They turn around so that they can come forward on their orbit instead, and that's when extra information usually comes out. Well, of the 6 retrograde planets that are happening now under this rather illuminating new moon in Libra today, 4 of them are going to go direct in the next week or 2. And because they're changing direction and finally moving forward, it simply means that something in your life, in all of our lives, is going to move forward. It's going to turn around a little bit. And that would be good for all of us. And for instance, in this next week, both Pluto in Capricorn and Saturn, which is Capricorn's own ruler, but which is in Aquarius, are both going to go direct. And so that's wonderful. The following week, Mercury, which is now retrograde in Libra, and Jupiter, which has been retrograde in Aquarius, and they're both trining each other, are going to go direct as well. So yes, we may have been involved in some sort of giant stall for a long time with all these retrograde planets that have been occurring for most of the year. It's just that they really have built up now. But they're not going to stay that way. So with 4 of them going direct in the next week or 2, I think we're sort of saved, because something in all of our lives is going to be able to turn around, or there will be some sort of temporary transitional change that will sort of lessen the tension in our lives and calm us down a little bit and make things a little bit more balanced and fair, which is what Libra is all about. So this is a time when you can certainly benefit as the month goes on from anything that is even a small change. Because, you don't have to make big changes all the time. Just making small improvements or small changes can make you feel more peaceful. It can make you happier. So, you don't have to do anything grand and glorious. You could just do something even in your own home that would just make you feel better. And what's wrong with that? Nothing. So this is a time, because of the 6 planets that are in beautiful trine to each other in the air signs, indicating lots of fresh ideas right now, or new ways of looking at things. That's a good idea. And then the 6 retrograde planets, 4 of which are going to go direct in the next couple of weeks. That's really good too, because it simply means that whether you're making the turnaround or somebody else is, it's going to provide a way to lessen the tension or to ease things a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is one thing that is common to all of us. And remember, because Libra rules balance, it also rules harmony. And this thing that is sort of balanced throughout our lives is the effect of the pandemic. It's affected all of us, whether we ever got sick or not. It still has affected all of us. And our families, and our schools, and our jobs, and our economy, and our government, and everybody else in the world, okay? Well, actually, I think they call that fatigue. After a while, you hear the nightly statistics on it, and you've just heard them so many times that the numbers just don't even register anymore. And it's not for lack of caring. It's because we're all fatigued from it. And we're not used to that. Nobody is. People like to get up in the morning and go do something. You know, whether it's a job or just taking a walk or getting the kids to school or enjoying a cup of coffee and reading the newspaper all by yourself. What's wrong with that? But it hasn't, we've all been weighed down by what you might call bad news. We've also been weighed down by something that is sort of psychologically bothering us, hurting us. And that is that for about the last year and a half, we seem to be treated as if we can't make up our own minds, and so everybody has to tell us what to do. And, you know, I suppose when you're in a crisis, you got to be in crisis mode. But you can never abandon the initiative and the great ideas and the energy and the enthusiasm of your country or your family or your community or your church or the group you belong to. You know, even if it's just you and a bunch of college kids enjoying themselves right now, that's still your group. And we're all a little fatigued and worn out by this constant pandemic news, when actually we feel like getting going. And that's what this new moon is going to do. It's going to turn us around so that we can get going. And that's because of so many retrograde planets going direct. So it's not like things are going to change real quickly overnight, but they are going to transition. They'll change sort of in a transitional way. And so there may be greater changes coming. But these transitional or temporary changes are going to be sort of a relief to all of us. For a person who's very energetic and hasn't been able to get out of the house for months, you know, just going outdoors is going to be a change. That'll make them feel better. For somebody who hasn't had a job in a long time, going back to work and getting a new job, that's going to be a big change, but it'll make them feel worthwhile. Isolation is not what Americans do well. And why should they? I mean, this is a free country. One thing doesn't work, we can try another one. But the choice is ours, because that's what the country's all about. So this is going to turn things around. We don't have to be weighed down by everybody telling us what to do. There can be some temporary changes that people are willing to try out now in order to keep things harmonious and balanced. And so what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries, for you, since there are no planets in fire signs, I would say you are going to feel the full effect of this new moon today because, Aries, the sun, the new moon, Mars, your own ruler, and Mercury in Libra are all opposing your sun sign, and Pluto in Capricorn is squaring your sun sign. So actually Mars and Pluto are squaring each other right now, which isn't too good for financial matters because they're the rulers of Scorpio. And Scorpio rules taxes, for instance. So it's not too good for anything that deals with financial matters. So Aries, there is the possibility, due to a little legal snafu or to partnership tension or something like that, I don't think you're going to get what you want right now. 4 planets in Libra all opposing your sun and then Pluto squaring it. I think that other people are, they're sort of fed up with everything. Not fed up with you, Aries, but they're fed up with the tension that they've been living under now for well over a year, almost 2 years. And I think people just want to break free and turn their lives around so that they do feel free. And so if you in your way of doing things, which is very energetic and very determined, you're a real go-getter, Aries. If you come up against people who would rather work in partnership, but you're saying, no, follow my orders, you probably are not going to get any of your wishes come true. And that is because we're not there. There's no planets in the fire signs at all. So there's no support for any fire sign. And you've got 5 planets, half of all the planets in the heavens, in harsh aspect to your sign. That's why I don't think you're going to get what you want right now, Aries. That doesn't mean that what you want is necessarily wrong or anything, unless you're there is a possibility you could be on the losing end of a lawsuit. And believe me, I would not let it progress. I would end it any way you can. If you're in some contract or legal situation, I would just get it over because you won't win it. And no matter what else you do, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So be sure and end it. So Aries, can be a time instead when you might want to try to relieve. Remember, this new moon is about turning things around. And so with these planets, 4 of them going direct, and they're surrounding somewhat your sun sign. It simply means that as the energy flow changes to something positive from having been negative for most of the summer, it can give you a boost too, Aries. It can give you a new sense of energy. Generally, Aries have a lot of energy. But if you have been in a sort of losing position for a while, it could indicate that things could turn around and you could be able to make some sort of new start, particularly by December 4th when there is a solar eclipse. You know, that's a new moon, but it's a real powerful one because it's an eclipse in Sagittarius that will trine your sun. That's why I'm saying if you're in any kind of a standoff with anybody, it is going to be to your benefit to end it. Right or wrong, just end it. Because you actually have better things coming. So you don't want to burn your bridges at both ends, Aries. Instead, just end something so that you're in great shape as we come into the holidays. Because they will benefit you. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. There aren't as many planets in the earth signs as there have been lately, but there is one thing happening that is very beneficial to you, Taurus, and it is that next week, Pluto in Capricorn, which trines your sun where you have Uranus, is going to turn around and go direct, and you will benefit. And the reason why is that there is the possibility, Taurus, that you could be promoted. And it's either that you get the direct promotion, maybe something's been on hold for a while because the budget's been a little tight, but now maybe the budget gets better, so finally they give you a raise or something. But there's also the possibility that it doesn't happen to you, it would happen to your boss or somebody in higher management. Maybe they get a promotion. If they do, it simply means they take you with them. You do benefit. So either you get their job or you go with them wherever they're going, and that would be a step up too. So that's good. What you need to do right now, before the end of October, and certainly before we get into new November, is that you need to really go over the books and your tax records to see that everything is looking above board right now, and that there are no loopholes that you are involved with, tax loopholes, because there can be a lot of financial unknowns in November. And that's because Mars will be in Scorpio opposing your sun sign, where you have Uranus. You could get a nasty surprise. If you are trying to take loopholes right now, I wouldn't do it. This is not exactly the time for you to try to slide by anything. This is a time more or less to sort of clean up the books or get all your paperwork done. And that way when Pluto goes direct next week, you can just sort of sail through to something that would represent a turnaround for you as well, which it would be. And it would be a step up too. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, what more could you ask for, Gemini? 6 planets are all trining your sun sign. Ooh. And the lucky north node of the moon is still in your sun sign. Now, I thought it was leaving the end of September, but actually I looked again, and yes, it's at 1 degree, looking like it's just about to leave. But actually what it does is from now until the middle of January, it goes from 1 degree to 3 degrees and back to 1 degree. I mean, it just doesn't do anything. It doesn't leave until January. It stays in your sign, Gemini. So that's lucky for you because the north node of the moon is a lucky friend. And so either you have a lucky friend or you could certainly be attracting them now because Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius are going to both go direct and trine your sun, and that means your future is looking very bright, better than you think it is, Gemini. And then today's new moon with the sun, Mars, and Mercury, your own ruler, in Libra, are also all trining your sun. And your sign rules communication and easy transitional change. So will there be a turnaround for you, Gemini? There most certainly will be. And it can be that you will want to take yourself more seriously and commit yourself to something. That's Saturn in Aquarius going direct. It also can be that there can be other people that sort of want you to be out in the public a little bit more, or do something for a group, or be a representative for something. And that's because Jupiter is going direct, and you should do that. You should accept that responsibility, Gemini, because being out in the public is where you belong. Or it can be that you are involved in buying and selling. And those things can work out quite well as these 4 planets go direct in the next 2 weeks. So you are, I would say you're sitting pretty, but it's Mars that's trining your sun, and it's conjuncted by the lights. And so that means there can be a partnership issue or a contract issue that could be a little sticky right now, and it could be headed your way, Gemini. But what I'm saying is that, you know, it's going to have to be resolved. And I think you and a lot of your good friends are going to have the ability to turn it around a little bit. It'll turn around, and it'll turn in your favor. And so you just have to sort of be on your best behavior and let the good things happen to you right now, Gemini. Don't fight anything. Just be charming the way Libras are charming, and take advantage of the changes that are coming up this month, because almost all of them will benefit you directly. Lucky you. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when I think that you have got to sort of sit back and maintain your peace of mind at all costs, Cancer. And the reason why is that yours is a cardinal sign, and so is Libra. So that simply means that your sun is being squared by the sun, the moon, which is your own ruler, Mars, and Mercury in Libra, and Pluto in Capricorn is opposing your sun sign. Okay, so that's a lot of planets, and 5 in cardinal signs, and all in harsh aspect to your sun sign, Cancer. It would be wise of you to very carefully monitor your responses to anything. And the reason why you should carefully think over what you want to say before you say it is because there is the threat of antagonistic people around you, or somebody who wants to bring up a contract, and even if they're wrong about it, they could still try to stick you with some costs connected to it. So you have to be really careful. And if I were you, I would keep a low profile right now, and not say too much. In other words, don't agree, but don't disagree either. Just try not to talk to people who are being combative right now. They may be former partners, or they might be people that have some issue with a legal contract. So being non-committal, or being very quiet, or better yet, not being there at all, but you know, telling people you have to be somewhere else or something else is scheduled for you. That would be sort of a good tactful way to duck out of something as well. And then Pluto opposing your sun sign, going direct this next week, means that there is the possibility that some promotion or some favor that you had wanted in connection with a large company or a government agency could come your way, Cancer, but it may not be your heart's desire. It may not be everything that you wanted. It may be something that comes your way based on everything they want and not too much on what you want. So you have to think that over a little bit, Cancer. And so this is a good time to be absolutely non-committal. You know, you don't have to make promises. You don't have to fight with people. You have to almost let things turn around first. If I were you, I would let that Mars get out of Libra because it's squaring your sun so harshly, and Pluto is opposing your sun. Mars and Pluto are the rulers of Scorpio, and they're in very harsh aspect to your sun sign. If you were expecting a certain amount of money to come from some business deal, the money won't be there. Not as much as you wanted. So be very careful right now, and let these planets move forward, because whether you make a move forward, other people will, and that will sweep you along in sort of a positive way. You may not have to do too much right now, Cancer, but don't let your emotions get you involved in arguments. It's not going to do you any good. Just keep a smile on your face and keep walking. What does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time without any planets in the fire signs that you have the ability to sort of slow down a little bit if you want and do a little bit better planning. And you may as well, because there is a wonderful solar eclipse coming up in Sagittarius in December that will trine your sun. So since the fire signs don't have any backup at all, this is a wonderful time for you to sit down and sort of take a look at some issues that have been what you might call out of kilter a little bit. And first of all, you need your own peace of mind. You need to do things that will bring you a peace of mind. And the sun, new moon, Mars, and Mercury in Libra today are all sextiling your sun. So that simply means that, you know, there is the possibility that a partnership issue or a contract matter has the opportunity to work out in your favor. Or there could be a good opportunity coming. And you should take a look at that, Leo. That could work out pretty well for you. It's just don't let people rush you into anything right now. Just sort of thoroughly look things over. But I would say you benefit from the new moon today, which is good. On the other hand, the other way people can experience a turnaround this month is because 4 planets are going direct. This really will have an effect on you, Leo, because 2 of those 4 planets are Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius, which have been opposing your sun sign. And they've been retrograde, meaning that good things were always sort of out of reach for you this year. They didn't come about the way you thought they would, or you thought more would be coming, but there wasn't. And so with Saturn and Jupiter now going direct and being trined by the new moon, which is also sextiling your sun, it seems to me that your future is looking brighter than your present situation. And you should realize that things are going to open up. And this is a good time for you to sit and not do anything, but plan things. Just write them down and plan them. And then the other side of that is really physically getting ready. You know, either getting yourself in shape or getting a new business venture in shape, something like that. Any new endeavor of yours, you know, that takes work, even to get it set up. So this is a good time to do that as well. So there may not be any real impetus in the fire signs now, but there's going to be by the start of December. And what you've got is an opportunity in October to just move things around a little bit, or plan ways that you can advance. You don't have to advance now, but you do have to plan for it. And so I think that you can succeed at that, Leo, if you just sit down and think about it a little bit. And that way, by the time this solar eclipse comes on December 4th, you will be ready. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when, just like Taurus, you benefit from Pluto going direct next week in Capricorn because it trines your sun, and so does Uranus in Taurus. And so it can be that there is a matter or some change in the management structure of a business or an organization, or it could even be a community organization that you belong to, or of some government agency that you interact with. And whatever that change is, it could be a change in policy as well, would tend to benefit you, Virgo. And so I don't think that you have anything to do with what's being decided, but as something in your career, Capricorn rules our careers, as something in your career sort of turns around now and begins to make sense and looks as if it can be temporarily moving in the right direction, it would benefit you, Virgo. And I think that it could even be just that you are handling your own business matters, not just in your job, but perhaps in your investments as well. You could be handling them a little bit more comfortably. Your sign rules accounting. And so, Virgo, you could be getting ready for your year-end taxes that must be paid for next year. And so this is a good time to do that. So, long range, I think things are looking pretty good for you, Virgo. And if people enter a time in November when there can be financial uncertainty, which I'm pretty sure is going to happen, I don't think your boat's going to get rocked very much, Virgo, because of this steadiness and this knowing exactly what's going on financially. I think as long as you're on top of it, you can stay on top of it. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Libra, congratulations. This is a very dynamic new moon in your sign, Libra. Ooh, and that is because even though Venus is your ruler, it's the Sun, new moon, Mars, and Mercury in your sign that are all being trined beautifully by Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius. So with these 6 planets all entwined to each other, there certainly can be some sort of turnaround that will directly affect you, Libra. And all I'm worried about is that it's Mars in your sign, not Venus, but Mars, that could sort of overdo it for you. Either because you're overdoing something or because someone else is demanding that you do more. I mean, that could tire you out. Or it can be that there is a legal question or some partnership issue that is sort of demanding your attention, and it would have an effect on your future one way or another, particularly since both Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius, which rules the future, are going direct in the next week or two, and they will be trining your sun clear till the end of the year, both of them. So, don't let anybody push you around right now, Libra. But on the other hand, this is not a time for drifting away. This is a time for you to really look over things in your life. And you may decide, or you may even feel, now that this new moon has occurred, it's today, that you're sort of coming out from under a cloud. And you may be thinking, oh, there have been so many times when I wasn't doing anything because I was sort of under a cloud that now I've got to overdo things. No, that isn't true. That isn't true. you may as well, I'm talking about a turnaround. I'm not talking about a speed race. And besides, Mars will move on. It won't be in your sun sign for that much longer. So, because it's going into Scorpio. So this is just a better time for you to sort of get yourself ready and make sure that you're all tuned up for being your very best. And not just, Libras take care of themselves. They generally always look good. But, Libra rules charm. And Libras always have a nice smile. And every time a Libra smiles at somebody, they'll smile right back. It's like Libra gives a smile, they get one back. Well, what's better than that? It's nice. And so, get ready to spread your charm around, is what I'm saying, Libra. And be at your charming best. This is a good time for that. And when those two planets go direct in the next couple of weeks in Aquarius, your future is going to open up. And I don't think it's going to open up quickly. It's just going to open up. And then because Saturn is there and it'll be in Aquarius for the next 2 years, you may have to sort of steadily pursue your goal. But at the end of those 2 years, you'd be very close to making it. So if there's a challenge out there of any kind, you can handle it, Libra. So congratulations and have a great birthday. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time with those 4 planets in Libra right behind your sun sign. That, oh boy, there is so much light in the background of your life, Scorpio. Everybody can see what's going on, or they already know it. And that's because it's the sun, the new moon, and Mars, your own ruler, which are tightly conjuncting each other, and Mercury is in Libra as well, right behind your sun sign. So there can be a partnership or a legal matter or a contract matter that is, it's sort of contentious, but it is somewhat behind the scenes, although a lot of people can know what it's all about or know about it. And for that reason, Scorpio, if I were you, I would try to be very quiet right now. And the reason why is that Mars is about to come into your sign. Remember, there's 4 planets that are going direct in the next week or two. That will bring a turnaround for a lot of people. And that opens the way for something that is a transitional change or something that is sort of temporary but tends to work out. Like both sides can agree. And so that can happen for you, Scorpio. But the reason why I suggest that you keep a low profile and be quiet and not say too much right now is because Mars, once it leaves Libra, it will come into your sign, which it rules. And it will set up a square to Saturn in Aquarius and an opposition to Uranus in Taurus. And that is when there's going to be a lot of unknowns about financial conditions. And it's not good for financial conditions. And yet your sign rules credit, debt, taxes, inheritance, insurance, grants. It rules all money coming in from any other source. So all I'm saying is this is a better time for you not to argue with anybody, but to really clam up, be as quiet as possible. You can decide for yourself whether you want to argue with somebody about money or not. And what you really need to do is make sure you've got your financial bases covered in a very safe way. And by covered, I mean really covered. And that is, covered or insured or something, so that if the financial boat rocks anywhere in the world, it would probably affect us one way or the other. Your boat won't rock. I don't think your boat is going to rock, but it could come under pretty strong headwinds. And that's why I wouldn't get in any arguments with anybody. I would sort of keep my distance and be real quiet right now. Scorpio, because some people are going to enter very rough water in November financially. And it's important that you just quietly make sure that you don't. And it takes some preliminary work to make sure that you've got your bases covered. That's all you have to worry about for now. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Sagittarius. Well, there aren't any planets in the fire signs, but Sagittarius, there's a lot going on around you, and that new moon with the Sun and Mars and Mercury in Libra are all sextiling your Sun. And a sextile represents opportunity. And we know with these 6 planets in air signs trining each other that there's a lot of good ideas floating around right now. And people can be buying and selling or thinking about moving or taking short trips or making plans of one kind or another. You know, looking forward. The 2 planets in Aquarius, which rules the future, are both going direct as well. So, Sagittarius, there can be a lot of movement. I don't know if it's in your life, but it is around you. And what you have to do is you just have to be real sure of what your plans are and try to shut out what everybody else is doing so that you can just concentrate on your own ideas or your own plans. There can be something, Sagittarius, that even over the summer you have been sort of thinking about, or let's just say, you know, it's been sort of in the back of your mind. Something that sort of keeps coming back to you that you've been thinking about. And I think that you should keep thinking about it, because whatever it is may require some sort of summation or answer from you right around Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving, when there is a solar eclipse on December 4th in your sign. So there can be something that you've just been keeping your eyes on and maybe looking at a little bit more closely than people realize, and sort of trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And I think you're going to make it, Sagittarius, and that you will be in a very good spot by the solar eclipse when it occurs on December 4th, and you'll have some answers. And with those answers, you can go forward. And so it doesn't matter that there's no planets in fire signs right now. Okay, you don't have to be a ball of fire all the time. You have a fine mind. If anything, your mind sort of overworks sometimes. You can think too much about things. But this is a time in October that is a month, that is a turnaround month. So even if you don't make a turn right now, others will around you, and that could positively affect you, Sagittarius. You know, quarantines and lockdowns and things like that, that's not the way we live. And so we need to all go forward, because we're real tired of not going forward. And that is why I think you are a person with your fine mind that will have some pretty good answers to something coming up this holiday season. And I hope you share them with everyone. Sagittarians are worth listening to. All people are worth listening to. But generally they talk at a pretty profound level. So just make sure that you've got all your facts straight, is what I'm saying, because it's going to affect your future, and it should do that very favorably. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Capricorn. Pluto is going direct in your sign finally, and that is next week. And so that certainly means that you can be much more sure about your own goals and your own power and your own convictions. You know, sort of like right or wrong. Yours is the cardinal signs. Cardinal signs all know what's right and wrong. They go by that. No shades of gray. And the cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Well, the Sun, New Moon, Mars, and Mercury in Libra are all squaring your sun sign today, Capricorn, where you have Pluto. And next week, Pluto will go direct. But because Mars and Pluto are squaring each other, and they are the rulers of Scorpio, which rules money coming in from any other source, and taxes, it simply means that you've sort of got to get something straightened out that involves either your own financial records or partners or any kind of business entity that you're involved with. You might be just like Virgo, sort of thinking of the year end, getting all your paperwork ready for filing your taxes this year for next year. So to have Pluto go direct means that you have a greater sense of your own power, and also that you begin to see a good way for you to go forward in with what you might call the best teachers, or using historic examples from the past, but they're the best examples. Because it isn't just that Pluto's going direct in your sign, Capricorn, it's that Saturn is going direct. Saturn is your own sun sign ruler. It's in Aquarius, the sign of the future. But to be sure of how you go forward in your future, you have to really concentrate on what your models are. You know, what are the examples that inspire you, or that you want to live up to, or what are the traditional steps that you think must be taken in order to do something right? Because you could do it, Capricorn. You're going to be able to turn something around, and it would be based on the truth of how you feel about your own power or yourself and your goals at this time in your life. And so it's like something's really going to click into place. And it may be that you decide, oh, I think I better get serious about something. Well, that's fine. You do a great job. So good luck. What does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a time when you benefit greatly from the 4 planets in Libra, the Sun, the New Moon, Mars, and Mercury, which are all trining your sun sign, where you have Jupiter and Saturn, both of which are going to go direct in the next week or two. So will Mercury. And so, these are 6 planets in air signs all trining each other. The 4 that are trining in Libra that are trining your sign are really going to give you a boost, Aquarius. Oh, in fact, you better make sure you are in good shape to be a little bit busier, because remember, this is a turnaround month. And so in order for things to turn around for you, you probably would have to get some legal matter straightened out. Libra rules the law, and Mars is there. It's a good aspect to your sun sign, but it might mean that you have to straighten up some legal paperwork or some partnership issue. And really, no loopholes allowed, Aquarius. You got to really do it right. And it looks to me like you can. There's 6 retrograde planets today, but in just a few weeks, there'll only be 2. Because 4 of them are going to go direct this month. That means the pace picks up. Well, particularly for you, Aquarius, because boy, do you have a lot of backing right now. So I would say, since both Saturn and Jupiter are going direct in your sign, that this is an optimum time for you to get real serious, to turn something around so that you can be in a more serious or prestigious position in your future. Saturn's going to be in your sign for 2 years. If there is some challenge that you want to take on and really do right, give yourself 2 years to do it, because that's how Saturn can be helping you when it's in your sun sign. It'll help you. And, you could really be quite successful in another 2 years, Aquarius. And if that means that you have to make a deeper commitment to your job or to increasing your skill level, then that's what you have to do. But the rewards will be there. Saturn is a planet of reward. You just have to earn it the hard way, but it's there. So take yourself real seriously right now, Aquarius, while you have so much energy being poured into your sun sign from the 4 planets in Libra. And make that energy work for you, Aquarius. This is a time of opportunity to turn something around in order to make your future a lot better. And you can do it. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when I think that, you remember I said there's 2 reasons why October can be a turnaround month. The first reason is that there are 6 planets in the air signs all trining each other, but 4 of them are from the new moon in Libra. And so the sun, new moon, and Mars and Mercury in Libra are 150 degrees away from your sun sign or in conjunct, which means that today's new moon may not affect you directly as much as it could affect a partner of yours. This could be a coworker at work, this could be a classmate at school, or it could be a partner that you really have a business interest in one way or another, and it could affect them. So that's one reason or one way that people can affect a turnaround, by the favorable planets in the air signs. But there's another way, and that is because there are 6 planets that are all retrograde. Well, Pisces, they are surrounding your sun sign. One of them's in your sun sign, Neptune. But they're all on people's one half of everyone's chart. They have been there for months. And now 4 of them are going to be going direct. And so it means that something that has been either slowed down or stopped in your life, Pisces, is going to become available again. Or opportunity is going to knock. And boy, you ought to answer the call, Pisces. Because these 4 planets that are going direct in the next 2 weeks are going to create a sort of a whirlwind of activity around you. So maybe they'll happen to somebody very close to you. Or maybe they will happen to the company that you work for. But there will be some sort of turnaround which should be favorable and create some sort of temporary or transitional change which also should be favorable that you can take advantage of, Pisces. So I think that it may not be the Libra new moon that is helping you out as much as all the retrograde planets that are now going to go direct. Because it's a little bit like, the difference between having the winds blow against you and then suddenly having the wind at your back and blowing you forward. You're going to get a little help going forward now, Pisces, when these 4 planets go direct. And that help could even sort of come from behind. You may not know everyone who's helping you, but it can be very nice because it means that you can make forward progress. Now this is very important to you because Jupiter, which is now in Aquarius but is going direct next week, I think, is coming into your sign on December 28th. And it's going to be in your sign for a whole year. And that is when your life is going to expand. I mean, what I'm just telling you is the winds of change for that expansion, they're starting to blow now. They're starting to help turn something around for you. So it might be sort of subtle, but it's going to be pretty good. So, Pisces rules sleep. Don't be asleep at the switch, Pisces. Be alert to changes that are going on around you. It's almost as if Pisces are very perceptive people. You may begin to feel by the end of October and going into November that there are benign forces around you They're either protecting you or they're helping you move forward. But they're there. And that will be very good for you. Perhaps preparing you for an expansion in your life in 2022, which will happen. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see this show and read our blog on our website. Fingers crossed that hacking is over by next week. So if you want to see it on starborninstitute.org on our website, you can do that. Or you can watch the show on our Karen Campbell YouTube channel. And you can subscribe there as well. So thanks a lot. I'll see you next week. Bye.